Hey guys, my name is Victor and today it's just me. As you might know, me and Grace are apart. I'm in Canada and she's in Taipei. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my experience of flying during this world pandemic. And I flew over 14 hours straight from Taipei to Toronto. I kind of want to share with you guys what happened in the airport and some precautionary methods that two airports have had. And these are main airports in Taiwan and in Canada as well. So let's get started. Okay, so on the way to the airport, I thought it would be a little bit, normal because it's Taiwan and people are a little bit flying in and there within the country. But no, it was a complete ghost town and no one was there. Shops were closed and also we were looking for food. And in that situation, there was only one or two food places that was open. The lower floor, I think it was the basement where you can take the train. There was shops open, more food places, and there were people eating there. So let's head to check-in. When I was checking in, it was pretty normal. And the only difference is that the employee asked me if I had an ARC card because I think she only saw my visitor's visa, and that was like, that day was my last day. And on the next page after that, I actually had a stamp from the immigration agency that said it was extended for another 30 days. So I pointed that out and everything was fine. My luggage was actually heavy so that I took out a little bit of stuff. Thank God Grace was there to get it so that I just don't have to throw it out. So that was check-in, nothing too special. And we just waited until about like 45 minutes before boarding time. And then I went in. There's no lineup, nothing at all. Going through security, it was like one or two people at the same time and it was spaced out. So it was very empty. It was very weird because at that airport, I always had to line up outside that security gate. But no, it was different. They checked and that was pretty quick as usual. And head to the gate I was in. And again, pretty empty. No one was there and everything. And by the time I got to the boarding area, so if you've been to Taiwan airport, there's a waiting area and then the boarding area is actually downstairs. And once I got downstairs, I was appalled because, wow, it's busy. Like that whole waiting area was packed. And I was like, I wasn't expecting this flight to be this full. Like everyone was there in one small room and I got scared because some people were transiting from another country and they haven't been screened yet. It was just a transfer. So at that point I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stay in my corner and not touch anything. Obviously, that's when I put on my face shield, my mask, and my disposable sweater. And that was when I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stay away. I have my water here, like I should be good. And I don't care if I'm the last one to board. So I waited till boarding time. Thankfully, my boarding area is one of the last ones. So it was good. Usually when they ask you for your boarding pass, they scan it for you, right? But this time, no, like they just point to you, here, scan it with the barcode, and that was it. Going into the plane, not much distancing, but I tried to really distance myself from the person in front of me. I can't really help the people behind me. But so far, I'm just keeping in mind where I am and what I'm touching. And I got to the plane, same thing. I was like, it's this packed. But thankfully, I really asked for a seat that had no one between me and another person. And I guess that's how airlines are structuring the seating arrangement now during flights, because you really want to distance yourself to another person. So everyone who's not related or like flying together had a space in between another person. So that was pretty good. But at the same time, it was still a little bit cramped up because it was 3 airlines in one flight. So I flew with EVA Airways, and they combined Thailand Airlines and Singapore Airlines as well into that flight going back to Toronto. So I was kind of bummed. I thought it was going to be an empty flight, but it wasn't. It was busy. And yeah, so I sat down, I sprayed everything. I just made sure that everything, my station was clean. I sanitized it as well. I know they sanitize it before boarding people, but it's always nice to do it just because you're exposed in this environment. Okay, so flying. The actual flying part was pretty much the same, only a few changes. The food, you don't get a selection anymore. Usually with EVA Airlines, you have 2 options when they serve you food, but this time it was just 1. Everyone gets the same thing unless you're a vegetarian, of course. And whenever I went to the bathroom, I would always spray into the handle and then I would open it, and then same thing. I would use the bathroom, make sure that everything I touch, I would wash my hands, and same thing going back, and I would do the same again, like spray. I had this little bottle that it's now almost empty, and it really helped. And I think for me, it's just a peace of mind when I do it, especially when you're in an exposed environment like that. Just minor difference, you're wearing a mask the whole time, sleeping with a mask on. I had a face shield on as well, so it was not too bad because I think I slept 70% of the time. Okay, so arriving in Toronto. This, my friends, is a little bit shocking. Okay, let me get to that. But going out of the plane, pretty much similar. You get your luggage, you wait, and you pretty much go out the airport. Usually when you get to a destination, you get an arrival card, right? But this time you have a COVID form where you fill out your address, your name, just your contact information, and just you're really agreeing to the 14-day quarantine. And they contact you, they email you, they call you to check up if you're doing the quarantine. Actually, before the flight, the government released an app to kind of like a checklist so that it's like easy. So I filled that up and all my information. And then the last step would be getting a token from one of the employees there, so that all I have to do once I get that token, I put the number, and then all I have to do is scan the app, and I would go straight to the immigration after that. So it's like a very easy process. But I asked people, I was like, so how do I get the token? How do I get the token? And they're like, they didn't know. The employees were like, maybe that's in like the other terminal. So is it only domestic or international as well? Like, what was the point of the app? That was useless. So we had to go through the places again where you have to declare, and if you didn't bring anything, you just, keep it empty. Okay, so here's the shocking part. Going through immigrations, I thought there would be a lot of questions, so I was prepared for it. I was prepared to answer all the details that they would require, but I gave the immigration officer my passport, and here's what happened. He asked me, how long have you been out of Canada? So I said, 10 months. Do you have any COVID-19 symptoms? No, I don't. Do you know that there's a quarantine, a 14-day quarantine? I say, yes, I do. And he says, are you going straight home? I'm like, yep. Okay, here you go. And I'm like, that's it? Wait, what? So I go straight thinking, okay, maybe there's another layer of kind of interrogation or questioning or maybe screening. Usually after the immigration officer, you give your declaration card to be checked by another officer. And at that time, you have 2 forms, your COVID-19 contact form and also the declaration form. I gave it to her and she checked the declaration form, gave it back to me, and then took the COVID-19 form. And that was it. So I'm like, okay, now it's time to get my luggage, right? And then before the exit, there's another couple of officers there to get your declaration card. And I thought they would have more questions, but same thing. They grabbed my declaration card, checked it, and okay, didn't say anything. So I got out. And that was it. I was in Canada. That was it. All I had to do was go to the parking lot, find my dad, pick me up, and go straight home. So that was my experience at the airport, and I thought there would be temperature check, and I thought there would be more questions about like, where did you stay, like why were you there, or do you have any like history of these symptoms and stuff, or did you ever get COVID-19? But no, nothing at all. It was just that. So what's it like flying in a global pandemic? Well, it's pretty scary because you're gonna be transiting with people you don't know where they came from or what their history is or if they're infected or not. So you really have to be mindful of everything that you touch, everything that your surroundings, and make sure to always sanitize, wash your hands, and don't touch your face. Anyways, I am flying back to Taiwan soon, and I did get a special permit for COVID-19 going into the country. And if you guys want to see a video like that in Taiwan of me going through the process of how Taiwan handles foreigners entering the country, let me know in the comments down below. We'll see you guys in the next video.